All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, 6:30 a.m., August 7th. I'm going to do a morning Bitcoin and altcoin analysis. By the end of this video, you will get to understand my views on Bitcoin, where I stand with the near-term analysis, and also some altcoins like Ethereum and Link and maybe some DeFi projects. Okay, so let's get to it, right? Let's check out how ETH is doing, or I'm sorry, let's check out how Bitcoin is doing first. Uh, so yesterday or 2 days ago, I think I drew this chart right here. Basically, we were talking about this previous order block right here, which was, when you have this kind of sideways movement and then you push up and get rejected, well, the real supply actually started right here, okay? It's merely the fact that we had sellers in this area, but they pulled their asks and they lifted their offers saying, okay, well, you know what, let's allow the push up, get some more asks filled up here, and then just, market sell and sell it down. Or just do a rug pull where there's not bids, supporting the price as they previously were. So everything kind of cascades down. Now, how does that help us with present day? Well, after this big sell-off that we had, we kept grinding on up and up and up. I stated 2 days ago that if there was any time for BTC to get rejected, it's this area, okay? Well, we got rejected, but again, swiftly climbed back up into that supply, right? The supply being this parallel channel that you see right here. So the fact that we're doing that, we're grinding into this parallel channel, in my opinion, is a very positive sign. And I personally think that eventually is going to crack, okay? However, I also don't see the confirmation that we've actually started to push up from here. Yes, we're kind of chopping around, I get it, we've done something like that, but we really need to start breaking up through this blue channel that you see, as well as this parallel channel that you see. Then we can, say that, okay, we've confirmed the fact that, we've been grinding into supply and we're breaking through it, okay? It's not enough that you only grind into supply, but then eventually get rejected, right? It's mostly important that you grind into supply and then you have some meaningful follow through. Until then, this is all just garbage, right? It's really, maybe movement without some follow through, without action. So let's make sure that we can actually break this area. And if we're looking at a particular marker, what you really want to see is a 1 hour or 4 hour candle close above $11,900, which is this range high that you see right there. Okay, so unless we see that, this area is still 50-50, to be honest. Yes, it's a positive sign that we're grinding into supply, but we haven't had follow through. Okay, now when it comes to counts, right, Elliott wave counts, I told y'all that I did a couple different counts like this, just so we can see maybe near-term bullishness, near-term bearishness. So in a black count that you see, what I've basically done is completed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that means the top right here that we had 4 or 5 days back, around 12,100, that was the top of the fifth. So that means we might be in an A, a B, and a C wave correction, okay? However, if we dig in a little bit closer, so if you look at this key high, right? So you had this key high, which was, resistance right there. We pushed up and then got sent back down under. Well, what we're effectively doing is something positive, which is that, same thing right there, right? We broke above that high and we're refusing to close below that black marker, as you can see, right? So all these candles that you can see right there, as you can see right there, they're refusing to close below that black marker. So that's a positive sign in my opinion. And that means that, temporarily we can expect more bullishness back towards this high. That's how I'm seeing it right now. However, it's still possible and not out of the question that this is the top of the fifth, and this could be your A, a deep B, and then a C coming out, okay? The other reason why I personally think that, we could still be in that ABC corrective wave count, or rather that we have not truly, let's just say, I don't know, invalidated the count, right? The ABC count, is that we see ETH kind of just chopping around sideways. ETH is not really showing strength. And I've told you all before numerous times that in this past rally that we've had for the last several weeks, you know, the one thing that we've seen from Ethereum is pretty good bullish strength, okay? Whether it's Bitcoin leading the market or it's Ethereum leading the market, we see, you know, bullish impulsive candles like this on ETH, not sideways choppiness for 3 or 4 days like this on ETH. So this kind of concerns me into thinking that, well, we're kind of just, you know, sideways consolidating and we haven't quite done anything meaningful. So, you know, I remain a little bit cautious, but I'm not there at the point where I think that, you know, I should be shorting. I don't think it's wise to short yet. Unless you start seeing, you know, let's just say a 4-hour candle close below this area, or multiple 4-hour candles close below this area, then we can start talking about lower prices. Or even the 15-minute chart, right? You know, we're right there on the pivot. You know, we've tapped that pivot multiple times since yesterday's daily open. So tapped it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. This is not a positive sign that we keep hammering on the pivot, but it's a positive sign that we haven't broken it yet. So let's just say, you know, you want to be aggressive a little bit in terms of closing out your long or maybe going short. Well, you could say that, okay, if I start seeing a candle close on a 15-minute or 2 15-minute candles close below this marker, which is 11,759 and a half, then you can start shorting, because, you know, you have your argument to be made that it's possible that maybe, you know, this is a bit of a, this is a bit of a descending triangle and it could start breaking down. The measured move from this easily takes us to S1, which is around $11,600 or so. All right. But again, you know, no confirmation yet. All right. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the price action at present moment. The other thing, which is non-related to crypto, but in some ways going to have an impact on crypto, is we have some big numbers coming out today, right? The NFP payroll, the non-pharma payrolls, they're coming out in less than an hour. There are some big expectations for these numbers, right? So remember, these numbers are critically important in understanding exactly what's happening in the labor workforce in the US, all right? And I think so far, people have seen somewhat of positive numbers, but remember, just the last month, we've seen the coronavirus wave, the infections, the deaths rise in the US, states roll back their openings, potentially more job losses. And so the way the markets, in my opinion, are structured right now, I think the reason they're consolidating right here, whether it be the crypto markets, whether it be the S&P 500, which kind of grinded up, and then over the last several days, we saw things like financials or banks or industrials moving sideways, is because I think it's the anticipation of these numbers. So we're at a point where, you know, critical juncture, where it's possible that, you know, maybe Bitcoin and all these other markets react either really positively or very adversely, because they're already pretty overextended. And so, you know, if you don't want to be caught in that bind, you probably shouldn't be in a position right now. You know, again, I'm just saying that if you don't want any surprises of big, you know, candles that will torch you like $500 or $1,000, or maybe even in the equity markets or FX markets, you might want to just stay out, right? You might want to wait for confirmation, like I said, above 11.9 on that 1 hour or 4 hour close, okay? But I do think, you know, for now, we're doing okay. I do think we've hammered on the pivot a little bit too much, but we need to start moving away from here. Like, I want to start challenging this R1, which is around 11,934. I think if we get above the R1, to be honest, I don't really see any reason why we can't get to at least the R3, 12,270, or way the heck up here around 12,625. All right. If we're even checking on the 4 hour basis, right? The R1 is right there around 12,180. The R2 is way the heck up here around $13,200. The 13.2 might be a little bit tough, but I do think at least the R1 is attainable. So I think that's kind of my thought process on, Bitcoin near term. If we're looking at the daily candle, not really done a whole lot. So I drew this marker that you see right now. Okay, so this comes from way the heck back here. Remember, I've been talking about this for weeks, okay? If you guys are not familiar with my videos, if you've been watching me for a while, kudos to you, but we have the Advantage membership where I make these videos every single day, or actually technically twice a day for Advantage members, because I do one in the morning like you're seeing right now, and then I do one in the evening right after daily candle close, right? Because through an entire day, a lot has changed. And then of course, through the day, I also have our Bitcoin analysis channel right here where I put out a ton of updates. So if y'all are interested in this kind of, updating and showing you guys what my thought process is, every hour-ish, come join the Advantage community. The link is below. You can join our Discord channel. The link is also below. All right. So let's get to Ethereum, right? So again, with ETH, I think we need a meaningful close above $400. Definitely above 400. I think that 400 is almost analogous to Bitcoin's 11.9K, right? 11,900 marker that I just talked about. So if we start seeing both Ethereum and Bitcoin start closing above those areas, we should start expecting, higher prices. But as long as we're kind of range bound in this area, I don't know. I think we could probably chop around here, but I feel like chopping around this area probably is going to lead to ETH coming down to 385, maybe down here to range low around 380. So I don't really want to play with fire right now, right? If you really want to show strength as bulls, you need to start blasting through some of these sell walls, okay? Let's check out Link, right? So the one thing that I've explained to our members in the Advantage side is that when Bitcoin has been, let me get a sip of water, 1 second. Excuse me. So when Bitcoin has been moving up over the last, what is it, several days, several weeks, what we've seen is the DeFi coins and then coins that are not large caps like Link or Tezos, they typically go sideways, right? They have not moved up as aggressively as, say, Bitcoin has. Because I think what Bitcoin is doing is it's playing on the strength of these altcoins, or I'm sorry, it's drawing from the strength of these altcoins. So the volume, the money flows, Bitcoin is pulling towards itself. And in that particular case, well, when Bitcoin is moving up, it demands altcoins to effectively be sold. It could very well be that the market makers or people who are in these positions are effectively, jumping into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is moving aggressively, right? It's as simple as that, to be honest, folks. And so what I've seen is, when Bitcoin sort of grinds sideways or slowly bleeds down, I've seen Link actually push up, okay? And so in this particular instance, if we see more sideways movement for Bitcoin, well, it's possible then we see more, up movement from things like Link or even the DeFi coins. Like, for example, if we're looking at Rune, okay, oops, let me pull, I don't know what happened. There we go. Okay, so if we're looking at Rune, right, as Bitcoin has gone up over the last, several days, several weeks, you can see Rune has dropped a lot. Now, whenever Bitcoin goes sideways on these smaller 15-minute or hourly timeframes, I've actually seen Rune push up like this, have good impulsive movements up like this. Okay, so I'm thinking that if Bitcoin has another pullback or maybe grind sideways, I'm thinking it might be time to get into some of these altcoin projects like Link, like Tezos, or Rune, or some of these other DeFi coins. Tezos is another one, which I personally think that it's done a really good job of staying above this range high. Now it's a matter of pinging that first target. So if you've been watching my videos on the advantage side, especially, I've been calling for Tezos to go up to 359 as a first call, and then beyond that, I don't see any reason why Tezos will be under $4.50 or $5. Again, not investment advice, but that's just how I see it right now. Is there really isn't anything stopping Tezos, from going into price discovery mode once it starts cleaning up these highs and heading up. Okay, so keep an eye on Tezos as well. Let me go back to Link because I do want to cover one more thing. So in Link, I was showing y'all that there's this pennant being created, right? The Advantage members and we got into a long position around 353, I think. Let me see, actually, where was it? Yeah, 353 was our entry. Stop was down here. And I think we just brought up our stop to break even. So just in case this thing dumps, we can be out of our position. But the way I'm looking at it is, I think Link can easily move to 1040. We came pretty close. We got to about 1029 or so. So just, need another 14, 15 cents higher. And I do think that's possible, to be honest. Okay. I think once Link starts breaking out above, 1040, 1050, I think all roads are clear all the way to maybe 1150, maybe even higher. All right. Let me see. So Bitcoin's pulling back a little bit, right? So let's check it out. Okay. So remember I told y'all that the 15-minute pivot is right here. So let's turn that on, So here you can see BTC breaking just below that 15-minute pivot. I mean, this is the first 15-minute candle close that we've had below the pivot. So now we got to see if this next 15-minute candle is going to dump significantly harder or it's going to reclaim above this pivot. Sometimes it happens where, this is just a shakeout candle, and then the following couple of candles really aggressively reclaim that pivot and we push higher. All right. So we'll have to see how it goes. Again, I am still in the mindset of a long bias. This is not the area that I want to be shorting, but if you do feel uncomfortable with the NFP numbers coming out, volatility maybe coming into the market, maybe you shouldn't be in such a heavy position, whether it's long or short. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, we trade Bitcoin and altcoins heavily. If you guys are interested, we have a ton of DeFi analysis, tons of chatter going on in the altcoin chat area. Lots of altcoin long, leverage long positions, spot buy positions. So yeah, tons of analysis in here. And if you're interested in the stock market, we also have a stock market side with options as well. We both, Faisal and myself, Faisal is the equities analyst. He handles the majority of the equities side. He puts out daily updates. So if you're curious of what's going on in the market, make sure you come join our Advantage membership. You get access to everything. We don't have a tiered membership. One price of $100 a month gets you access to everything. And it's a ton of information. Excuse my voice. It's a ton of information that you get on a daily basis. So that's it, folks. Hope y'all have a great Friday. Come join Advantage. The link is below, or the free Discord link is below as well. All right. Cheers.